Hi, my name is Ava. I'm 22 years old and currently studying graphic design. I never thought I'd be telling this story, especially not publicly, but something about it won't let me go. Maybe putting it out there will help me find closure, or maybe it will help someone else who's been through something confusing and strange. My life hasn't been the smoothest ride. When I was little, my parents divorced. At the time, I didn't understand why. It just felt like my world split in two. I started bouncing between homes, a few years with my mom, a few with my dad. Nothing ever felt permanent. By the time I was in college, my mom had taken a job overseas. My dad had remarried and started a new family. I needed a place to stay for my final year. That's when my uncle Nathan and his wife Victoria offered to let me stay with them. They lived out in the countryside in a quiet, picturesque home, a far cry from the city I was used to. At first, I was grateful. It felt like a break from the chaos of my life. Peaceful, quiet. But, as I would soon learn, the silence was not what it seemed. Uncle Nathan was my mom's younger brother. He was kind but reserved, and I hadn't spent much time with him growing up. Victoria, his wife, was elegant and soft-spoken, always perfectly put together. Their home was beautiful, white walls, large windows, old wooden floors that creaked when you walked. It almost felt like something out of a movie. I had my own room on the second floor overlooking the back garden. The first few weeks went by smoothly. I spent most of my time working on my portfolio and attending online classes. Victoria cooked delicious meals, and Nathan would join us for dinner, although he rarely spoke. Then I started noticing things, little things. The way Victoria would pause when I mentioned my mom, or how Uncle Nathan avoided looking me in the eyes when I asked questions about our family. At night, I'd sometimes hear footsteps in the hallway when I knew everyone was asleep. Once, I woke up and found my bedroom door slightly open. I was sure I had closed it. One evening, while they were out, I went looking for a notebook I had misplaced. I checked the downstairs study, a room I usually avoided. It was filled with books and old photographs, many of them in black and white. I picked up one picture and was shocked. It was my mom, at least 10 years younger, standing beside Uncle Nathan. But the way they were looking at each other, it wasn't how siblings looked. I began digging. Quietly, of course. Over the next few days, I searched drawers, old boxes in the attic, even Victoria's locked cabinet when I found the spare key. I found letters, dozens of them, some from my mom to Nathan, some from Nathan to her. They were emotional, raw, filled with regrets and unsaid things, and none of them made sense in the context of a normal sibling relationship. My mind raced. Were they more than just siblings once? Was there some deep secret that had been buried all these years? I didn't know what to believe, but the tension in the house grew thicker. Then, something happened that changed everything. One night, I woke up to whispering outside my room. I crept to the door and listened. It was Victoria and Uncle Nathan. They were arguing. "She's starting to ask questions," Victoria said. "She found the letters." "We should have destroyed them," Nathan replied. "But I couldn't. I couldn't let go." "I won't let her ruin everything," Victoria hissed. My heart pounded. I backed away from the door, terrified they'd realize I was listening. That night, I packed a small bag and hid it under my bed. Just in case, I began documenting everything: photos of the letters, voice notes on my phone, even video clips of strange things I noticed. Over the next few weeks, I carefully watched their every move. I researched family history online and reached out to my mother overseas. I didn't tell her everything, just enough to make her uncomfortable. "Ava," she said during one call, her voice trembling, "promise me you'll leave that house." "Why?" I asked. "What are you not telling me?" She refused to answer. She just kept repeating, "Get out." Finally, I confronted Nathan. I waited until Victoria was gone and showed him the letters. He went pale. You weren't supposed to see those, he whispered. That was another life. Before your mother married your father. We, we were young. We didn't know what we were doing. He looked at me with something like shame and sorrow. She chose to bury it. I respected that. But when she left you here, I thought maybe it was fate. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My whole family history was a lie. That night, I made a decision. I left. I called a friend from college and moved into her spare room in the city. I finished my classes and graduated. I never went back to that house. I blocked Victoria's number. Nathan tried to email me once, just once. I didn't respond. My mom and I had a long talk a few months later. She admitted everything, the relationship, the secret, the reason she had kept me away from Nathan for most of my life. It still hurts, but at least I know the truth. Conclusion and reflection, approximately 1,000 words. So, why am I telling this story now? Because secrets fester in silence, and because I believe we all deserve the truth, no matter how painful it is. If you've ever had that feeling that something isn't right, don't ignore it. Trust your gut. Ask questions. Dig deeper. You never know what you might find. Thanks for listening. If you found this story compelling, subscribe and leave a comment. I'll be sharing more real-life stories soon. Some mine, some from others who are ready to speak up. Take care, and remember, not every quiet house is a peaceful one.